Welcome again. As folks are arriving, we will get started in just a couple minutes. We'll just give it a few more to let people trickle in.
Okay, so of course Zoom has moved my cheese. Oh, there's it's like I can't find the chat. There it is. Okay, so there to be able to see a little bit of everything just in case. Welcome, welcome everyone. As we mentioned a minute ago, we will be recording, or we already are recording, so that if you need to leave early or if folks have signed up and couldn't make it this evening, they'll be able to watch a recording and also get the intro, the taster of the Eco-Spiritual Leader course.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I think we can go ahead and get ourselves started. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, Dawn. I see you in the chat there. Welcome to our Taste of the Eco-Spiritual Leaders course. This is a course that Kimberly facilitated, taught for us in the spring, and is coming back in a new and exciting second iteration this winter. I'm Ash Tiemann. I am the communications manager for the BTS Center. Many of you are familiar faces and recognize you from our other programming. But for those of you who are not familiar with the BTS Center, we are the organizational successor to Bangor Theological Seminary. We're located in Portland, Maine, and we focus on spiritual leadership for a climate-changed world. We do that through all sorts of different programs, public conversations, book study groups, retreat, rituals, spiritual direction groups, chaplaincy initiatives, all sorts of different things. A lot of it is online and so accessible to folks from all over the country and the world. Some of it is also in person. And this particular iteration will be online, which is wonderful since Kimberly is located in the Netherlands, and we are so excited that she's able to offer this course with us, even from a little bit of a distance. So we're so pleased to see that there's this great interest in the second iteration of our Eco-Spiritual Leaders course. Kimberly and I had a wonderful experience with this course the first time around. We had a really wonderful cohort of about 35 people who joined us, and we anticipate that this coming cohort will be just as deep and meaningful as the first offering. Over the next hour or so, we're going to give you a little taste of what the course involves, from the purpose and the content and the structure to a feeling for what you might expect if you decide to enroll. I know some of you are already enrolled, and that's fantastic. So hopefully this will just be a real enticement and excitement for the course. And those of you who are maybe not sure if it's right for you, hopefully this will give you a sense of the answer to that question. As I said before, my name is Ash Tiemann. I'm the communications manager at the BTS Center. I live myself in Portland, Maine, on land long stewarded by the Wabanaki people, the people of the Dawn. I am really delighted and excited to serve as the host for this course. So I'll be accompanying Kimberly and the participants, offering support where needed. And as we're getting started, I wonder if you might, if you're able to, from where you are, put in the chat where you are joining us from. So what your location is, whether that's a city or a particular aspect of the piece of land or water that you're joining us from.
We've got Cape Cod already, of Arlington and Southwest Michigan.
Nice. Western Mass.
Yeah.
Vermont, Pennsylvania. Good to see
Northern
you.
New Hampshire,
Oh,
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas. That's where I grew up, actually. Baton Rouge. Good to see you, Susan. Nice. Oh, it's so nice to see all people from far and wide. It's really, I love seeing where people join us from across, like I said, the country and the world. So welcome. Um, and as I said, the BTS Center is focused on spiritual leadership for a climate changed world. And this course is really about equipping spiritual leaders with resources for themselves and to help facilitate spaces of change in their congregations and communities. So I would love to introduce you to Kimberly now. Kimberly Knight is a certified ANFT nature therapy guide, a certified outdoor life coach, a Veriditas trained labyrinth guide, a nature partnered spiritual care provider, and a digital strategist serving heart-centered wellpreneurs. Kimberly earned her MDiv from Candler School of Theology in 2009 and served as the circuit rider for the Beatitude Society for 2 years, after which she was both the director of digital strategy for Agnes Scott College and minister of digital community for the United Church of Christ's online church extravagance. Kimberly has served as the social media coordinator for the ANFT and serves the ecosystem online community of Wild Church Community. She recently led a forest bathing immersion session at the BTS Center's Convocation 2023. I don't know if any of you were able to join us for that, but it was fantastic. And co-hosted the Our Sacred Nature Retreat for LGBTQIA+ folks in October this year. She currently lives in the Netherlands, where she moved with her wife 6 years ago. So welcome, Kimberly, and I'm going to give it over to you.
Oh my goodness, listening to people introduce me is it's always an awkward moment. But thank you, thank you, thank you for all, including all of my shenanigans. The underpinning with all my shenanigans, the golden thread that runs through it is a desire to partner with other folks who are doing good things in the world. To bend the arc of justice, as it were. And so I am excited to be able to facilitate a second round of this EcoSpiritual Leaders course with the BTS Center. Why? Why on earth am I doing this? I have a long track record of leading contemplative practices in online spaces. Back in 2008, 2009, when I was still in seminary and graduating from seminary, my focus was on online community. And I did a lot of online community building. I led an online church in Second Life with Extravagance UCC, all of these spaces. And then right about the time the pandemic hit, I seemed to have become allergic to online community. All I wanted to do was be outside, which didn't do me any good financially because everybody was doing online church, and I certainly could have helped folks out in that realm. But I felt this deep call to reconnect with the divine through and with nature. And I believe that in order for us to help support this climate changed world, to help do our part to maybe, turn the ship around a little bit, what we need is to reimagine, reconnect with the more than human world of which we humans are a part. Some of the things that we're going to do are we're gonna do some thinking, we're gonna do some talking, we're gonna do some reading, but that's not, in my understanding, enough. I believe that all lasting change is relational, And so what we're going to do through this course is remember our relationship with the natural world, and by the end of it, feel confident and equipped to invite other people into deeper relationship with the natural world. So I want to start off by offering a quote. I'm going to read the quote, very brief, and then when I do, we have just enough people here where it wouldn't be too overwhelming. If you might listen to the quote, I'm going to read it 2 times, and then if you would pop a thought into the chat, what this quote means to you, something that stands out about it, a challenge you may have to it. All right, so here's the quote. It appeared in an article that ecofeminism is intersectional feminism by Chelsea Johnson, Latoya Council, and Carolyn Choi. And here's the quote. The first step in being an effective ally is asking communities what forms of support they need. I'm going to throw a little question in the middle and then I'll read it again. I wonder what you might think this quote has to do with an eco-spiritual course, or a course where we are deepening our relationship with nature. All right, I'll read the quote again. The first step in being an effective ally is asking communities what forms of support they need. And so if you want to, in the chat, maybe say a word or a phrase or something that feels like it resonates for you or connects with why you may be called to this coursework. Coming from humility and offering deep listening seems to me like an ideal place to start. Nice, yeah. Thank you, Marianne. How can I be one with you? Deacon Joey, thank you. Form of support you need. Roger's reflecting back a part of this quote that resonated. Yeah. Form of support do you need? Ask, what is the earth or its beings asking of us? Yeah, Lee, that's right. Yeah, that's what I feel here. We are all connected as members of one body, all members of creation. Thank you, Dawn. Ash says, how can we understand our deep interconnectedness and offer that support to others, both human and other than human? Nice. Thank you, Ash. Justin offers invitation to heart listening to the earth. What does the Susquehanna River need? Yeah. It requires deep listening to the other, trying to create community. Gail and Amy, thank you, thank you, thank you. So looking for connection, maybe also honoring the community. These are all spot on. They're deeply resonant with where I come from in this practice. Also recognizing the connections Lee offers between white supremacy, the damage to the earth, and to BIPOC communities. Yeah, right on. Thank you. Susan, how can we increase connection through connecting with nature? Yeah, there's some manifold questions in there. Susan says, we tend to support what we help to create. So what do others need to ally and to help our challenge Louisiana state? For sure. Elizabeth, importance of understanding communities need to make connections to nature and natural resources. Absolutely. So for me, and what this course offers us an opportunity to do, is that first step of asking the community of nature what is needed for support. So to get out and experience, to have an embodied relationship with the natural world is a core element of this course. So we are going to spend time throughout the entire course, even in the winter, in the natural world, reconnecting with our kin. from the tree to the ground, to the squirrels, to the birds. We're going to spend embodied time in nature. We're going to wander with openness. We're going to come with curiosity. We're going to challenge one another in our thinking and our practices, but all with open hearts and in a really safe space to raise questions and grow together. I want to share a practice with you now. No, we have a couple more minutes. We have a couple more minutes to talk about. One thing I'd like to do is show you a little bit about how the course will unfold in Thinkific, the platform that we will use to move through the elements of the course. What we will do through this course, let's see, let me get ready to share my screen in 1 second here. Ash, while I'm doing a little bit of tab switching around, would you like to take it for just a moment?
Sure. This course, I'll just talk a little bit about the structure of it. The course is structured over a series of weeks from February. We'll start on February 8th, takes place on Thursdays, 1 o'clock. So the same time as this session, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 1 to 2:30. We'll begin with an orientation on February 8th. And then each week will be either a sort of instructive session or a more contemplative session. We'll alternate between those. So the instructive sessions will have more content from, not to divorce intellect and contemplation, but they'll be a little bit more on the intellectual side of heavy side of things, and the contemplative sessions will be more in the practice-based side of things. There will also be on a Saturday, March 2nd, there will be a half-day retreat. And that retreat will be a guided forest bathing walk that Kimberly will do with us. You may wonder how that will work with Zoom, as I did, but it works really well, amazingly enough. So those of you who are in the course will receive a little packet in the mail prior to the retreat with some little retreat treats. And we'll have an opportunity to go out into a wild space near you, even if it's just your backyard, and experience a real forest bathing walk guided by Kimberly as part of the course. And then we'll also have some time at the end of the course, a break of a couple of weeks where there'll be an opportunity to meet one-on-one with Kimberly as you're working on a kind of final capstone, small experiment with radical intent, we like to call it, a little bit of a capstone project where you can really take what you're learning and absorbing from the course and put it into practice in the community that you're working in, whether you are leading a congregation or you are a leader in another kind of community, or you're wanting to start some sort of community project in your particular area. I do see, I should say we're going to have plenty of time at the end of this session to ask all your questions, but I do see a question in the chat if they're asynchronous or live sessions. They're going to be live sessions on the Thursdays, from 1 to 2:30 Eastern time. They will all be recorded also in case you can't make a session.
So, and I'll continue to speak to that particular question is, when we jump into Thinkific to look at the way that works, the way the course works, is you will have an opportunity not only to engage in the synchronous or the live sessions, but there will be throughout the course on a drip schedule, asynchronous content that you will have time to access and explore on your own pace, with the hopes that you do come to the live sessions that are more conversation focused, ready to jump into the conversation with a question or with a bit of the reading, whatever feels right for you. Everything about this course is an invitation, and I take that very seriously. Offering you the structure and the content and the guidance and invitations. Some may call them assignments. I call them invitations, opportunities for you to grow in the way that makes sense to you. So you may take an invitation and amend it in a way that makes sense to you. What we found in the previous course, when we were meeting, trying to do all of both the intellectual conversation and a bit of the contemplative practice in one meeting, the feedback we received is that folks really wanted more of that contemplative practice, right? They wanted to go a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. And that's why we've added a little bit more time for that. And I look forward to sharing that. It's been a joy of mine for, gosh, more than 15 years now to lead online contemplative practices. And now that I can do it with my heart invested in nature, it makes sense to me again to be able to do that. So I'm going to show you around Thinkific real quick. So now I'm going to do share my screen. Oh my goodness gracious. Too many tabs. All right. So I think everyone can see the 2024 Eco-Spiritual Leaders with the BTS Center. Is that correct? Thumbs up, some folks. That's what we're seeing. I'm not seeing my Facebook page. So this is what it's going to look like when you log in to the course. And this will show you what the basic layout is. And so we're going to be moving through different sections. First, exploring the work of Joanna Macy, the first of her two movements, the coming from gratitude and honoring our pain for the world. So gratitude and grief and how important those are to engage and fully experience those in our relationship with this climate changed world. And in section 2, we're going to touch on forest bathing or nature therapy. Those terms are starting to be used interchangeably, where you will experience some of the practices. I will share how to do some of the practices. This in no way replaces the full course offered by the ANFT for being a certified nature therapy guide, but it is a way for you to begin incorporating these practices and these invitations in your own life and hopefully be able to offer them to other folks in your spiritual communities. And then we're going to get in the thick of bringing all those pieces together to learn how to craft some intentional spiritual practices with what we've been learning to offer them not only to our own selves and our small communities, but larger communities. And then we'll move into this harvesting and sharing is that section that Ash mentioned, the small experiments with radical intent, and hope that you will have synthesized everything together, harvest everything together to be able to offer it back to a community of practice. So each one of these sections will be on what is called a drip schedule. So you'll be able to access one right off the bat, or the pre-course prior to orientation. This will open up after you've been registered and shortly before the course begins. And each one you'll be able to go through and get a sense of what's being asked. You might be able to engage in a discussion, and here's some of what maybe a prompt for the discussion. Last time, we had both the conversations happening here and sort of a third social enclave online. And I think what folks really appreciated was just they would have preferred to have all conversation in one place. And so we're going to respond to that feedback and keep all the conversation just in the comments. You won't be able to move on to the next sections until they are opened at a certain time. Typically, I open a session after we have completed the conversation. So we're going to have live gatherings every week. So after we've had the conversational gathering or the intellectual gathering, I will open up the next session prior to the contemplative section. So people can keep moving forward in the content, but not too soon, right? So we can keep focused right where we are section after section. And that's what Think If It looks like. What I don't want to do is run out of time for our practice to get a little taste of that, and then plenty of time for questions and answers. Ash, am I forgetting anything structurally that you think would be important?
I don't think so at this point, and we can certainly circle back during the question and answer period if things are unclear for folks. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hit stop share for right now. So here's where we're going to have a little bit of a practice. An email landed in your inbox today, and you may not have had a chance to check it before you hopped on. Maybe you did, but you were invited to bring a nature being to our gathering: a feather, a rock, a leaf, a pine cone, a stick, a fur baby. So if you don't have that with you, if you want to just go and look for one, we'll take a couple of seconds to do that. I'll take a sip of water, and then we're going to begin our practice. You know, a lot of us, myself included, we spend a lot of time in our head studying and learning and growing. And sometimes there is a privilege of mind over body, right? We tend to think that what goes on in our minds and our hearts is more important than our physical connection with the world. And so what I hope that you will experience in this course is a deeper embodied somatic connection with not only the natural world, but how that might help you connect more with other folks, right, in the world around you. All right, so does everyone have a nature being? If you'd like to just hold it up and just show it to everyone. Yeah, I see pine cones, I see rocks, I see a little succulent, I see all kinds of lovely things. All right, so here we are. What I invite you to do is just start to really arrive in your body. Settle out of your brain, come down into your body, get planted in your chair, wherever you may be. Take a nice deep breath. Let yourself inhale and exhale in a way that feels right to you. Nothing special about it. Just notice what it feels like to be breathing in this moment. And start to tune into your body. And just notice what it may need to feel really relaxed. You might need a wiggle or a stretch, roll of the neck, whatever feels right to you. You might want to close your eyes, and if you want to do that and turn off your camera, that's okay too. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable in this moment, everything is welcome. If you want to not close your eyes and just soften your gaze, that is welcome too. Now, fully arrived in your body, I invite you to bring your attention to your nature being. Maybe put your hand on it or hold it in your hand. And touch it in a way that is right for you and right for this being. Maybe just with a fingertip or just with the palm of your hand. Maybe if it feels right, you could bring it close to your face. Maybe let it touch your face. Maybe gently. Maybe let it scratch your face a little. And take my glasses off and close my eyes and just let it. I wonder what it feels like against your skin on your face. Is it Is it sharp? Is it soft? Is it warm? Is it cold? And as you rub your hands on it, or as you're watching it out the window, I wonder if there's any sound you can perceive that your nature being, maybe it sounds clicky. Maybe it sounds scratchy. I don't know, you may have a word for what you're hearing. And does your nature being have a fragrance? I don't know. It might smell like your house if it's been in there long enough. You might smell like your nature being if you've been with it long enough. And if it's possible, either holding your nature being or imagining your nature being, can you perceive the power of gravity? I wonder if you were to ask this nature being how you might work together to support the planet, what would that question look like or feel like to you? Would you maybe hold your being close to your heart? And I wonder if something in your heart is a response to the question. And maybe set your nature being aside. And just gently hold your hands up to feel the air. And what does it feel like now that your nature being is not right with your body, not right in your hands? Or if you've been observing your being outside the window, maybe close your eyes, maybe turn your back. What does it feel like to no longer see that being? And let's just sit for one moment and notice our breath. When you're ready, you can turn your camera back on. You come back to, maybe put your glasses back on. Come back together. And I'm going to invite folks, if you would like, to unmic and with one word, just one word, lean expression, popcorn, one word, something that came up for you in that meditation. And we'll just go popcorn style. Whoever feels called to, give yourselves room and time to mic and unmic. If you would prefer to type your one word in the chat, that will work as well. But I'd love to hear some other voices besides my own right now.
Adaptation.
Oneness. ecosystem, softness, connected, time, tenderness,
Gentleness.
gentleness. Thank you, Edith. I actually saw where that one came from.
Fragrance.
Fragrance, nice. Connecting more deeply. Adaptation, one.
Grounding. Grounding.
Grounding, thank you, Elizabeth.
Release.
Oh, release, lovely.
Flame and restore.
Oh, nice, thank you. I felt my nervous system calm down, so calm. Calm is my word. So when we have our contemplative practices in the course of the course, they are longer, they are varied, they are creative, and it is probably my favorite part of the course because for me, it's that embodied connection. It is that experience of our connection with the natural world that really ties everything together. All change is relational. All change is relational. So we have roughly 20 minutes left to go. I want to give ample time for questions. Things will continue to come up for me that I didn't want to miss on mentioning. There will be assigned invitations for reading from a variety of sources. We are going to talk about things like the difference between eco-spiritual and spiritual ecology and understanding those differences. One thing as eco-spiritual leaders, I think it's important for me to say where I am and where I come from and what my journey holds for me is that, and I imagine most folks here know this, but no part of this is about nature worship. That is not what eco-spiritual leadership is about. It is about deepening our connection with the created world and weaving in our own stories, stories that may come from our traditions, the stories that we may be forming and reforming for ourselves, and weaving that in with our deep connections with the natural world. So I do want to make sure that I lift that part of the course up, or what is not part of the course. So Ash, if you would help me spot who would like to ask questions, I think maybe if we use the little hand raising feature, the little emoji for hand raising in here, the reactions, let's see, yeah, where's my raise hand? There it is. Then I'll know who would like to ask a question. And when you're done, just make sure you lower your hand so that I don't keep calling on you.
Thanks, Kimberly. I have a couple things I just want to throw in before as you're all percolating on the questions you might have. One is just to let you know that we do have an enrollment cap on this course. We can accept up to 35 people to participate, but we won't go any higher than that, just to make sure that we have a really full and robust experience for the folks who are participating. So just keep that in mind as you're pondering registering. The other thing is that
Ash, I want to pop in on that 1 second and piggyback on that. And don't be daunted by the 35 number, because we will have opportunities for breakout sessions within our live meetings. So there'll be time for everyone to be together and time for small groups to have more intimate conversations. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No problem. And the other thing to mention is that we are able to offer continuing education credits, CEUs. So if that is something that is of interest or of use to you, that is something that we can talk about. You're always welcome to email me and we can discuss that if that's something that's of interest to you. So yes, please raise your hand, or you can pop a question in the chat. I see a question from Elizabeth. Is this course appropriate for lay church members? Kimberly, do you want to take that one or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take that and say absolutely. If you are feeling called to deepen your own connection because you feel like you might have an impact on your local community, lay leader, church leader, Sunday school leader, discussion leader, all of those things are appropriate, and everyone is welcome. It is our hope that it comes with an intentionality to bring what you learned back to your community in some way. So yes, and. Other questions that I can answer or Ash can answer for folks? Susan, sure.
What you refer to an acronym, I guess, are AMFT.
Yes. So AN as in Nancy, ANFT, that is the Association of Nature and Forest Therapy Guides and Programs. That was the body that certified me as a guide, post seminary and post outdoor life coach and all that. So thank you for asking me to say the whole name of the organization out. I tend to forget to do that.
Could you repeat it again?
Absolutely. I'll type it in. I'll do you one better.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Association of AN. So Nature and Forest Therapy Guides and Programs. Thank you, spell check.
I'm seeing a question in the chat of how much is the fee. The fee is $200 for the course, and that includes your registration and the little box of materials that we'll send partway through. And we do have a limited number of half scholarships that are available. If that's something that you're interested in, you can email me, ash@thebtscenter.org. I'll put my email in the chat. But the overall fee for the course is $200.
Thank you, Marianne, for popping the URL to the ANFT into the chat. So that's there for folks if you want to see that.
Are there other questions? I will just share, as you might be kind of percolating on other questions, that one of the real richnesses of this course for me is the way that Kimberly has curated such a robust and deep and varied set of resources that are shared in Thinkific, that you'll have the opportunity to work with and through in the course. There are readings for sure that are wonderful, but it's not just readings. There are videos to watch. There are podcasts to listen to. There are opportunities to do creative practices on your own, writing and arts and different ways of really engaging. So it's a little different than courses that I've engaged with in the past, and maybe courses that you've engaged with in the past, and that it's not a syllabus full of readings. There are readings and opportunities to engage in that way, but there's so many different ways to engage with these materials, and I think that's particularly great for all of us, really. But if you have a different learning style, if you're not really like a sit down and read an article kind of person, there's a lot of different ways that you can access the themes that we're covering in the course. So
Thank
just
you for that, Ash.
like
Every single section, whether it's gratitude, grief, wandering, there'll be a practice, there'll be an experience for you to engage, there'll be something to read, something to listen to, invitation to create, do, write, make something of your own. Could even be write your own prayer. It could be a nature-inspired creation. Lots of different ways of engaging. How much time would you say it takes outside of class hours? Gosh, as much or as little as you want is the first and truest answer, right? And the course will be open well after the completion date for you, with the hopes that you would put in an hour or two a week just to stay engaged with the content. Some weeks you may be able to do more, some weeks you may do less, remembering that everything is an invitation. So you may, after the curated pieces are made available to you, you may self-curate. All right, I'm going to engage these 2 or 3 things. And then at some point, I'll go back and go even deeper in that particular unit.
Yeah, and I will say on that note that you will retain access to Thinkific, to the course after our final in-person session, which is on April 11th. I don't have a specific timeline for that, but you will get at least a few months after that where you'll still have access to the course and all of the materials. So if there are things that you would love to engage with, but you don't have the time, or you're able to take a look, but you're not able to go as deeply as you want to, there is time for you, an extended amount of time after the last in-person session of the course, so that you can go back and revisit those things that you may not have had a chance to spend as much time with as you wanted.
Thank you for adding that, Ash.
Yeah. I'm seeing a question in the chat about, are we planning to offer a future series on a different day of the week? And that's a great question. And the answer is possibly. This is an kind of ongoing conversation and relationship that the BTS Center has with Kimberly, and we're super excited to be offering this course a second time, and it is certainly within the realm of definite possibility that we'll do it a third time. And we don't know when that will be or what the schedule will be at this point, so I can't give you more specifics, only to say maybe. And I know that's not a super satisfying answer, but for right now, this iteration, we are doing it on Thursdays, and I'm really sorry if that prevents you from joining us.
And I'll take Roger's question. Roger, is there a capstone project orientation, class member presentations? Yes. So that the final unit, which is the harvesting and sharing section, we will talk about the harvest project early on in our orientation. And the harvest project is that small experiment with radical intent, right? So we'll be moving towards that the whole time, hoping that you are picking things up that you want to incorporate in that project by the end. And then the final class time, and maybe time and a half, may be an opportunity for us to share what our projects, what we've come up with, and what we've created, how we've shared it, how we've invited people into these practices. Midway through saying that, it was something else I was going to say to you, and now it just evaporated right out of my head. It'll come back to me in just a moment.
Was it about meeting individually with folks?
Yes, it was. Oh my goodness, you could read my mind. How do you do that? That's amazing. So you'll notice in the schedule that around the Christian Holy Week, and then a little bit after that, there's some time off, right? And so during that time off, I am committing my time to meet one-on-one with folks. So at this point, you will have been working towards your capstone project, your small experiment. You'll be doing that, you'll be working on it, and we'll have a chance to look at that together. You may send me questions beforehand hey, Kimberly, can you come up with another reading or another listen or another video around this particular question? And then I could give it to you and we can talk about that one-on-one. That time will be completely yours to decide how you want to use it, if you want to use it, and there'll be a sign up for that as we move into the course. I'm not sure. Ash, do you see Deacon Joey's question? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, let me see if I can answer it, and then Deacon Joey, if you have further questions, you can let us know. You are definitely welcome to invite other folks to come and join us in the course, and be a part of the EcoSpiritual Leaders course with you. And then if you wanted to do something as a group for your capstone project, that's really focused on your community, I think that would be an excellent idea. You also, if you are the only person from your community who's participating, and you want to experiment with taking what you're learning and the ideas out into your community and form your own eco-spirituality group, maybe as your capstone project, then that's also an excellent idea. I don't know if you're asking about like having a cohort within the cohort of the course, which isn't really within the scope of what we're doing. But certainly if you want to invite people from your community to participate in the course, and then you guys can take what you're learning and absorbing and really run with it in your own community, then that would be fantastic.
And that's really that, you know, this should have a ripple effect, right? The point is not just to get you to sign up for the course, get you to take the course, get you as an individual to learn and grow. It is so that you can take this back to your community. You will gain knowledge, you will experience practices that you're going to want to share with others in your own words, in your own way, incorporating it in your own context. And that is ultimately our hope for this. Any other questions, concerns, celebrations?
All right. Well, if you think of other questions, you are most welcome to email me. My email is in the chat. I will put it in there again. And it's also on the course webpage. So you can find me there. You're welcome to send emails to me with questions. If you have a question for Kimberly, I will be happy to pass it on. Or Kimberly, you can put your email.
I'm putting my email in
Okay.
too, sure.
Great. So you can email either of us or both of us, and we will be really happy to answer further questions as they come up. As I said, the registration will close when we get 35 people, whenever that may be. The first session of the course is on February 8th. That'll be an orientation session and a gathering, and then we will go forth from there. I'm just going to drop into the chat the webpage for the course, just in case you don't have it handy. And hold on just a second. Let me put that there. And so, yeah, we're really excited to have the possibility of all of you joining us for this course. It was such a great experience last spring, and I think it's going to be a really rich time this coming winter into spring.
Right. It's going to be a gift to be able to be together from winter into spring and experience those two seasons, from the hibernation of the earth into the return of so many beautiful things. It'll be a gift to share that with a group. All right.
Great.
Is there anything that you might feel you need to make this experience feel complete for you? Anything that wasn't touched on? Anything you would like to offer, say, ask, anything at all?
Yeah, my comment is there's a rich tradition in the eco-spiritual world, and I'm wondering what if I should even ask if there's a theological or philosophical foundation to ground the thinking, or at least to know the traditions.
Mhm.
I don't know, from paganism to universal Christ, and everything in between, and to what extent it's a practice in resiliency with future climate change catastrophes and whatnot, and different modalities that can be embraced that I haven't heard mentioned.
Absolutely. We're going to be touching on readings and podcasts and videos from a variety of theological sources, from both the spiritual ecology and the eco-spiritual worlds, right? So we'll be pulling from different traditions, different readings, and we will be engaging in practices that are informed by these traditions, not in an appropriative way, but in ways that honor our own traditions and draw on the learnings from these cultures. I have with me some books just right here, right now. I recently reread Karen Armstrong's Sacred Nature, lovely. We're going to dive into not only Joanna Macy, but work reflecting on Joanna Macy's work. I have here, even, this is lovely. So this is from a Dutch theologian, Green Theology. So we'll be having some readings from that. There is the Spiritual Ecology book that's a collection of essays. We'll be drawing on things from that. And we'll be listening to John Green, right? And a reflection and how this particular podcast informs our work. So there is deep and rich intellectual work to be done in addition to the practices that we're going to be engaging. I just come from a place of experiential constructivist type pedagogy, and so we'll be weaving all of those pieces together. Does that answer your question, Kurt?
Yeah, it fills in some blanks. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, well, we are coming up on 2 o'clock, so I want to let you all go forth into your days, evenings, mornings, wherever you happen to be. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us and for your interest in this course. And as I said, please feel free to email either one of us in the days and weeks ahead, and I hope that we will see many of you, if not all of you, on February 8th when we kick off the course.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Really,
Thanks.
really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.